right, the more grain is moved, that just increases the opportunity for maintenance issues, grain damage, or other downtime in general.
So what we saw overall with our plant in general was just a number of things. It was obviously the logistics of how we moved it. It was the sizing we had of everything. It was the number of extra steps that we had, because you start with one thing and then you add a piece here, or you grew this piece, and so it took additional movement, whatever, and it wasn't really this front to back or beginning to end process of laying it out and streamlining it to handle the volumes that we do. When you look at an ethanol plant, that equipment runs every minute of the year, and so it's always in movement, and we need it to be durable and shrink the amount of times it's moving. And so for us, that was really important. And so to sit down with your team and to have them look at it from a front to back scenario and minimize those things and yet bring in the durability and ease of use was important. How'd you guys kind of go about that?
Well, we certainly claim to be experts in the field. And part of that was simple. You tell us how much grain you need to move and how fast it needs to be there. And we just have a full engineering staff that can dedicate their time to that. It's really simple. It might not feel like that, but it's a pretty simple process. We're just moving grain from point A to point B, and it really doesn't not matter what processes it goes through. In the ethanol industry, there's a lot of different processes to get it from a kernel to the finished product. So that's where your expertise comes in. Ours, Chief Agri, we get it to the destination, and you take it from there.
So what are the challenges of going up with the grain?
All right, one of the things we did at Ethanol was a double-ended conveyor that goes under the ground for the receiving portion. It allows a truck to pull on, open both hoppers wide open, and we can move the grain as fast as the truck can, as fast as the truck can dump it. We can move the grain. Moves over to an elevator, up it goes, into the grain bin, out of the grain bin, back up to through hammer mills, screeners, various things that make the ethanol.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, I'm not sure, but it's really simple movement. We are just based on, we're focused on efficiency, and lack of wasted movement was a focus.
So that efficiency of movement is what really just makes it seem simple, I suppose, almost.
That's exactly what makes it seem simple. It's shortest run we can get from point A to point B with the least moving parts from a maintenance aspect.
So how do you oversize, or do you just size right, or everything's just built at this port level? I think we had talked about before.
Yeah, the port level is the gauges of material used. Really, right sizing it is critical. Too big is not always better. Too big can actually slow things down at times. Obviously, too small is not an acceptable level either. So we have to hit that magic amount with 20,000 bushel an hour. Obviously, there's a safety factor in there, but we will consistently, 24/7, 365 for the ethanol world, run 20,000 bushel.
And I know sometimes our folks have talked about slowing the thing down so it runs just at a more even pace and it's not as burdened on their conveyor, so to speak.
Yeah, there's a window on the speeds of all equipment. On top end, slow end, you can, increase or decrease your throughput or bushels per hour just by adjusting the speed.
And so that's kind of that whole sizing thing, is to not go too far that you can't slow it down enough, but too much that you're always pushing it all the time and almost kind of wearing it prematurely then, right?
That's right. You certainly get to a certain point, you want to put it on cruise control and just let it run. That's not always at the fastest, and it's not always at the slowest. A lot of people's natural reaction is to slow things down, and that does not always work best for moving grain. From the maintenance perspective, moving parts require maintenance. It's just all there is to it. We've done everything we can for serviceability, for preventative maintenance, what can be done. If items or bearings can be in a sealed environment so they stay clean and dry, we'll certainly do that. Every step of the way, it's maintenance driven. The entire layout of the catwalks and elevators, everything is accessible, safe to get to. At the end of the day, you and I aren't doing it. It's our maintenance teams are doing it, and it has to be accessible and easy for them, and they'll be very inclined to do it that way.
And at some height too. We're talking almost 200 feet in the air, or at 200 feet in the air, where we're putting people up there at whatever time of the day, whenever we have a need for that. I know we use a lot of different temperature controls on bearings, right? A lot of greaseless systems or auto greasing, and a number of different things, components like that as well.
Yes, that's true. That's a pretty simple system. You have a larger pot of grease feeding smaller bearings and whatnot, but it's very common in the industry to reduce the amount of maintenance required.
And as we go into like shutdowns, and we do that once a year thing, is there normal wear parts that you kind of just expect that we see as well?
We will certainly provide a list of areas to check for wear. Everything, as the equipment settles in and runs more, certain things will wear more or less than others, and we'll certainly have them on the list to consistently check.